Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Zoko. So lately I have been wanting to start putting out some more PvP content, and I thought instead of just another highlights video like I've done before, I would do something more guide oriented. That's the type of stuff that's been doing the best viewership wise as it is, so it only makes sense. I'm very open to ideas on what to make for future videos though, so if you have any content requests for me, just make sure to drop them in the comments and I will be in touch. I do my best to respond to everyone, haters included. So if you want to keep up with my new PvP oriented comment, just make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you learned something new in this video, or at least enjoyed it, please leave a like. All of that will be greatly appreciated. Let's get to it. What we are going over today for this video is making your own build. Now, obviously you can follow a build and go through a guide, and that is completely fine for some people, but others want to make something all of their own. Coming up with your own build that is successful and works for you is probably one of the best feelings in the game. And if you're new, that can seem like a very daunting task. You have so many sets and different combinations with your abilities, and then with the new mythic items, it's just like, oh my god, where do I even start? So I am going to be doing this from the perspective of a stamina Nightblade, because it is what I have the most experience in myself. I'm sure you can translate most of this to other classes with some adjustments for the strengths of that particular class. I'm going to be starting off by going over the skills I picked and their purpose in my bar, and then I'll be going over the gear currently in use. Again, I want to reiterate, this is not a meta build. I am not a maxed out character, as you can see, so I have not spent a ton of time trying to complete all of my gear. I'm using this time to try different sets and really learn the different ways you can push this class. Again, this video is to help you create something for yourself. Whenever I put together a PvP Nightblade build, I always make sure I have a few basic things when figuring out what skills I need to have on my bar. Your spammable damage ability, an execute, some buffs, a way to break contact, and a heal. Now I can go into that a lot more and it can get very complicated very fast. I'm trying to do this in a pretty simple fashion though, because it's aimed at newer players, so I'll go over my own bar just to explain why I chose what I chose. By the way, this is a build I was messing around with, so if you're experienced wondering what the hell this is, don't worry about it. I was just trying something new and having fun playing with a new style. First up on my bar, I currently have Whirling Blades as my execute. This ability is only possible because I am dual wielding, which for PvP isn't super common, but like I said, I was trying something new. Whirling Blades is a nice ability because it is an AoE execute, but because of the AoE effect, you lose that high single target damage. It's good against groups when multiple people are getting low in health, and anybody that tries to escape from you by going into stealth can still be hit by it. You don't have to have them targeted. Surprise Attack is next, and arguably one of the best stamina spammables in the game. If you are running a two-hander, you may decide to opt for Dizzying Swing instead, but I like the instant cast along with the debuff that goes with it, so I generally go with this instead, even if I am using a two-handed weapon. Shadowy Disguise I have on both bars, actually, because there are times I find when I am reapplying my buffs that I need to break contact still and try and weasel myself away. And personally, I found I survived way better with having just the same ability on both bars, so that's why I did that. Now, Shadowy Disguise is my primary means of survivability because I use it to break contact. You're able to forcibly cloak yourself for 3 seconds even if you're right on top of people, but it also sets you up for an attack because your next direct damage attack used within 3 seconds will always be a critical strike. Ambush is my gap closer. I don't think a gap closer is 100% necessary. It's more personal preference, and I generally like having one. It does about 5k damage and debuffs the target to take 10% more damage from me. If you follow up Ambush with a light or heavy attack, that attack will actually do 40% more damage. You only have a 3-second window to hit that attack, so you may want to open up with it right afterwards. And finally, I have Camouflage Hunter for the major savagery buff that comes with it being just on my active bar. That increases my critical rating, and on top of that, if I crit someone on their flank, I gain Minor Berserk, which increases my damage by 5% for a short time. And my ultimate here is Incapacitating Strike, which does 13k disease damage, but increases my damage against the target by 20% for 6 seconds, which is a very nice amount. If you use this when you're at 120 ultimate or more, they get stunned. And on top of that, simply with slotting this, you restore 100 stam and magicka from light attacking any debuffed enemy, which isn't a lot, but every little bit helps. Moving on to my buff bar, which is a two-hander. My previous setup was a two-hander and a bow. The buffs were kind of mixed through both, and to be honest, I was getting a little bored of just using a bow, so that's why I went with a double melee option with this build. First up, we have Relentless Focus for a little extra damage, and if the opportunity arises, a really big damage boost. It's very useful when you run into a tankier target that is giving you some trouble. Leeching Strikes is a great sustain buff for Stam Blades, heals health and stamina from each light attack, but best of all, when the effect ends after 20 seconds, you're going to get 4,000 stam back all at once. So make sure you have this up as much as possible. It's very important. We went over Shadowy Disguise being on both bars already. Next up, we have Rally, which is a super important buff because it grants you Major Brutality. That increases damage by 20%. And as a Nightblade, damage is your whole game, so Major Brutality is a necessity. You can get this also, the buff of Major Brutality, you can get it from potions. Another skill is Hidden Blade from the Dual Wield tree. If you want something more magic-based, Drain Power from the siphoning tree is another option that you can take if you prefer. Many choose Rally because it also offers a heal and stamina recovery boost with it as well. And for my fifth skill, I have Race Against Time, which grants me Major Expedition for 4 seconds and Minor Force for 12 seconds, which increases my movement speed by 30% and critical damage by 10%. This is definitely something I have up. With Rally, I usually activate both at the same time, and the great thing about activating Race Against Time is when you activate it, it removes all snares and immobilizations from you, and then it grants you immunity from them for 2 seconds. So this is a really good buff to have, and sometimes obviously you may want to switch back to it in a more defensive way whenever you need to remove those snares and immobilizations that people pin you down, because as a Nightblade, you're just not going to be able to take that damage if you get CC'd. You need a way to get out of it whenever possible. And then for my ultimate on this one, I have Soul Shred. I haven't morphed it yet, so that's a little embarrassing, I guess, but basically, this is my oh shit ultimate. If I'm getting swarmed, I may end up using this one. I've only successfully used it a couple times where it's really turned out like, oh, that was a great idea. Usually it's not used that much. I'm not 100% sold on this, but that's why it's there, more defensively. Moving on to my gear. My first 5-piece set I am using is Darlock Braze. This adds 647 magicka and stamina every single second while I'm crouching and not blocking, along with 685 health. It also reduces the radius that I can be detected while sneaking by 2 meters, and also reduces the cost of sneaks. So this is a really good Nightblade sustain set. Besides that, I have New Moon Acolytes set still, which is very good despite being nerfed. And then I have a single piece of Krogs just for the physical penetration that comes with it. I'm also running the Ring of the Wild Hunt mythic item with the infused trait, so I can get a little bit more weapon damage. The thing that makes Ring of the Wild Hunt so great though is the movement speed that comes with it. It increases movement speed by 15% while in combat, but while you're out of combat, it is 45%. It is a really effective way to break contact while you're in a fight. The amount of space that I can create when I hit Shadowy Disguise and get behind a rock, people don't realize how far I can get while stealthed. And obviously the more magicka I have, the more I can keep spamming that ability, just the further away I am able to get. And as you know from earlier, I am running a dual wield with axes primarily for, I'm trying to do some weird bleed effect build, I guess, but they also have some stamina enchantments on there where I can leech some stamina off of people, so that's going to be helping my character with the sustain. This character does have some pretty low stamina recovery. It's only at about 1100 when I buff up with a rally. It only goes up to about 1287. So again, this is very, very low. A lot of times you want to be around like 2000 or so. But again, with the Darlock Brace set, it doesn't even really matter. So let me just burn down some stam real quick, just to show you how effective this is. Okay, so I'm just gonna sit here for a second. You can kind of get an idea of how quick it's going. And then once I crouch, just see how much faster that goes. And I can actually move around stealthed and still gain it back. Obviously it's slower, but it is going up. And so that's one of the reasons why I love Darlock Brace so much. It's such a great Nightblade set for sustain. Now the thing I will probably change upcoming, I'm gonna be switching this trait out on my Krog's mask. There's no reason that I need training trait. That's ridiculous. I'm gonna be switching that out for divines. Try to upgrade some, and well, actually probably not gonna upgrade some amulets. I'm probably gonna switch these two out for bloodthirsty, so I can get some more damage from people under 90% HP. And then I'll probably do my right-handed weapon with Nirnhoned, which I have currently being researched right now, and I already have the transmute crystals to switch it out as well. But that's currently what I'm working with, and it is a very, very fun build to play. I love this thing. This does wonders for me. Now I got two awesome videos coming up on the screen right now. One is 5 methods of making gold, so if you are really trying to increase your income, check that video out. Otherwise, the other video is some leveling spots that are a bit off the beaten path, and nobody really will be there to bother you. So if you want to grind in peace, that is going to be the video that you want to check out. Again, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing if you haven't already, leaving a like and comment. I will see you all later.